welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to just remind everyone that if you would like to ask a question during this session, you can do so using the chat on the right-hand side of the viewer. Today's topic is going to be Chrome and ChromeOS troubleshooting tips, specifically with regard to clearing your browser history, resetting the default settings in the Chrome browser, and also a hard reset if you're on a ChromeOS device. So the discussion for today really is about troubleshooting. And I'll be honest, about 9 out of 10 issues with online services, or whether it's in the Google apps for education world or some other website or service or web-based platform, 9 times out of 10, the fix is quick and easy, and it's literally just clearing the browser history. And I know sometimes you hear people say clear your cache, clear your cache. That's really just asking to clear your browsing history, because what happens is every time you go to a website, the Chrome browser keeps a little bit or quite a bit of that website stored in local memory on the computer, so that when you go back to that website, it loads faster and it responds faster. So our computers continually use up all of this storage space to kind of keep bits and pieces of the websites that we travel to. So you're definitely going to want to clear that out every once in a while. And I can't necessarily tell you to clear it out every day. I don't think that you necessarily need to do that, but maybe on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, depending on how frequently you use your computer and the websites and the internet browser. Depending on how much you use it, it will probably dictate how frequently you want to clear out your history. So that's the first thing we're going to show you. And a lot of times this just gives the website that you're trying to use or the web-based service that you're trying to use a fresh start. It goes back to the server, grabs all the same or fresh new content and delivers it to you. And it may just be that you're looking at a stale or outdated web page, and that's why you're not functioning correctly, or things aren't, you're not experiencing things the way they should be. So we have a document in our district, at least, and you're looking kind of at it right now, this Chromebook user quick tips. And the first thing we're going to do, and you can see it here, is to clear the browser history. So I want to show you how to do this. It's super easy. You go up to the upper right hand corner, the 3 dots, which means more in Google's world. And when you expand that menu, go down to more tools. You're going to go over to clear browsing data. And you're going to have a new window pop. Now this is going to work in the Google Chrome browser. So if you're on a Windows device, a Mac device, you do need to have Google Chrome browser installed. And as always, we recommend that you sign into that service so that you carry over your bookmarks and all of your settings. And this will kind of take care of it for this device only. So we're going to show you how to do that. If you're on a Chromebook or a ChromeOS device, like a Chromebase or a Chromebox, you don't need to do anything. It will just go right to the same thing. You're already signed into your browser, so nothing you need to do extra there. Just go up to the menu, go down to more tools, clear browsing data. And for most users, the basic clear browsing data is enough. Just always look at your time range. This is where a lot of people will go wrong. They'll come in and say, oh yeah, I cleared my browsing data. But what happens is, if this time range is set to last hour or last 24 hours or last 4 weeks, you're really not getting all of that website cleared out. It's just within that time frame. So our recommendation is always go to all time and come down and make sure that these 3 boxes are checked. Browsing history, obviously number 1. You want to get rid of that. Now that may be blocked if you're in an organization that blocks you from browsing or clearing your browsing history, but the next 2 are going to be unblocked: cookies and cached images and files. You definitely want to make sure all 3 are checked and the time range is set to all time. And then you're going to go down, you're going to click Clear Data. This dialog box will go away as soon as the function is done. So it will remain in your view as long as it is still clearing out the browsing data. Once this dialog box disappears, the function is done and you can go about your business. Just know that you may be signed out of some websites that you were signed into. So if you were logged into PowerSchool, you may now be logged out and you have to log back in. So that is the first level of defense against issues that might be occurring in Google Chrome browser on any website, web platform that you're trying to use. First level of defense is just a clear browsing data. Another option, if you're on a ChromeOS device, is to actually do a hard reset. And you can see the instructions I have right here for you. A hard reset, and this is for most Chromebooks, will follow the following steps. You turn off your Chromebook completely. Once it's off, the screen is black, you're going to go ahead and press and hold the refresh key. It's the little circular arrow. And then you're going to tap the power button. So while you're pressing and holding the refresh key, you're going to tap the power button. When the Chromebook starts up, you can then release the refresh key. And that is a hard reset. What that does is that kind of flushes out any of that local memory and data that was kind of stored on the Chromebook from the last session. This is a little bit more than just a regular restart. We do know that, or you may not know, that a Chrome OS device will kind of check itself against the known good version of a Chrome OS every time it starts up. And it does all of that in less than 8 seconds. It's amazing. But this hard reset will kind of flush out any of the little bits and pieces that were kind of left over from that process. So a hard reset, if you're on a Chromebook or a Chrome OS device, like a Chrome base, that will work. If you are on a computer, a Windows computer or a Mac computer, you would have to look up the way to do that if that was something you wanted to consider. But again, that was just for a Chromebook. And then the very last thing I want to address today is resetting your defaults. I'm going to start over here. And this is for the Chrome browser. This is a little bit more intense than just clearing your browser history. This goes a couple steps further, and I want to talk about that before we get to it. It is in the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. Go down to Settings. And then you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom under Advanced. And you're going to click Advanced, and then you're going to continue to go all the way to the bottom. And this is under the Reset and Cleanup. And it's this option right here, Restore Settings to their original defaults. I'm going to click on this. And this, you may need to go to this step if after doing the first 2 things that I told you, that's clearing your browser history for all time, doing a hard reset on the device you're on. If those things don't work and you know you're still having an issue and it's not the service and it's not that and it's not this, and it definitely could be something related to your browser, well, then the next step would be a little bit more intrusive, and it would be to reset all of your settings. So what this says is this will reset your startup page, new tab page, your search engine, and any pinned tabs. So those things will be impacted. It will also disable all extensions and clear temporary data like cookies. So again, I want to reiterate, the things that this will impact are your startup page, your new tab page, your search engine, and pinned tabs, as well as all of your extensions. They will be disabled. And I'll be honest, if you are having an issue with a Chrome browser, one of the most likely culprits is one of your extensions. It's either having a bad day or it's not doing well at all. It just either needs to be removed or inactivated temporarily, maybe reinstalled even. But those extensions, remember, are written by third-party developers. And if Google has made an update to their Chrome OS or their Chrome browser and the extension kind of hasn't followed suit just yet, or there's an inconsistency or an incompatibility between the two, that could be where you're having the issue. And it could be something completely unrelated to the service you're on or the website you're on, but it's a Chrome extension that's actually causing the problem. So this reset settings will actually go to that point where it will disable the extensions. It doesn't remove them, it just turns them all off. So it's a quick way to kind of do that and kind of rule out all of those issues. The one thing this will not touch, or the few things this will not touch or will not change in your browsing experience, are your bookmarks, your history, and your saved passwords. They will not be cleared. So again, resetting your settings in Chrome will not change or remove your bookmarks. It will not get rid of your history, and it will not remove your saved passwords. So those things remain untouched, but your browser extensions will be disabled. Your startup page, new tab page, and those, if those are pushed out, and I'll say this as a side note, right now I'm not too worried about doing this because my startup page, my new tab page, that stuff gets pushed out at an organizational level. If I was in my private Gmail account, that would be a different story. I would have to go back in and set that stuff back up. But from an organizational standpoint, we direct what the startup pages are going to be each and every time. So in this case, I don't really care about that much, but you may if that's not the case. So again, you would click Reset Settings. It would sign you out. You would see this close. I would definitely, after doing a Reset Settings, advise you to restart the whole browser. And then, like I said, you're going to have to take a look at your startup pages. Any of the pinned tabs, you'd have to repair those, put those back in. If you had them and pinned them previously, those things will be kind of erased. But then you can come in, and if you go down to Menu, More Tools, Extensions, you'll get back to all your extensions. These will all be disabled. And then what you can do, and what is often the fix, is one by one turn these back on and see if you still have the problem. And if you find the extension where the problem starts to exist again, then either remove that extension, update it, or just leave it disabled temporarily while you use that service, and then you can turn it on again later. So those are just some of the quick ChromeOS troubleshooting tips. Again, 9 times out of 10, if not more, these 3 things will take care of your issues. Clearing your browser history, the key is for all time. Get rid of all of it, start fresh, close the browser, reopen it, and see how things go. If you need to go to the next level, do a hard reset on your Chromebook. If it's a Windows or Mac, you may have to restart the whole computer to kind of do that. And then all else fails and you still got a problem, it might be one of your extensions that you've got installed up here. And that's when you want to go through and do a reset of your settings to their defaults. That will disable your extensions, and then you can re-enable them one by one to try and find the culprit. I want to thank you for joining us today. I don't see any questions popping up, so we look forward to spending more time with you on the next topic.